What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. It's SRT Gator. I know it's been a while since I did an upload. Working and everything is kind of hard being consistent here, but trying to start back my YouTube journey. As you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm getting my car wrapped. Well, kind of. I'll show you the finished product, but let's go ahead and get it started. You know, here's my car. Let's go ahead and get that nice Florida cold start. You know, it's about a good 75, 76 degrees here, but let's go ahead and get a cold start on old girl so we can get started. Alright guys, we are in the car. Like I said, today we're getting the car wrapped. Come along for the drive. I'm going to strap you to the seat, and I'll see you when we get there. You can see I'm in a whole different set of clothes, so that means it's the next day. Come with me, let's go pick up the car and see how the wrap looks. All right, YouTube, we are getting ready to pull up to the car so you guys get to see my first reaction. And yeah, we'll see how old girl looks. Oh man, she parked in the driveway. And she looks good. All right, let's get out and take a closer look. There she is. The new Gator girl. Okay guys, I paused the video here because this is where I started to notice some issues with the wrap. To start off, yes, this was a budget wrap, so I was not expecting perfection. But there is still a level of quality that I did expect having this person do my wrap. So I know you can't see it here, but the first thing I noticed upon walking up was that the spacing between the stripes was not consistent throughout the car. If you can tell, at the very bottom of the front bumper there is a very narrow spacing, and that spacing got wider consistently up through the top of the hood, and then the spacing on top of the roof is even wider than the widest part of the hood. Again, you know, just those little things. Would somebody see it from, you know, 10, 20 feet away? Most likely not, but I can upon inspecting it. Also, with the edges of the stripes, they are not straight. I was told that, you know, the wrapper was going to use knifeless tape to lay down a straight edge. And that's what I was expecting. But looking at the edges of the wrap, is definitely wavy, more than likely hand cut. That was confirmed later when I asked him about the spacing, and he cut it right on the roof line, the roof of my car. Again, I winced in pain, but I didn't say anything to First of all, just keeping a cool head in these situations has, always worked out best for me. So I try not to go with my initial reaction, which is just anger and frustration. So I told him that, I wasn't satisfied with the spacing and that, some areas definitely need to be redone. And, he could keep the car longer for even an additional day if needed to correct the issues that I saw. Um, Again, my whole thing is, this is an opportunity for the rapper to get seen also. I am starting to go to more car shows now. I am in a car club, 407 Mopar, here in Orlando, Florida. So, people, I mean, especially with these colors, people will see the car. They will ask, who did the work on it. And, if it's good work, I want it, to be able to help spread the word, about the service that I got. So I left the car there for some additional time to get the issues that I first spotted corrected, and then we'll go ahead and pick up the video after I got home with the car. As you can see, another change of clothes. So this is day 3 of the wrap reveal. Um, Honestly, day 2 was a little disappointing. When I showed up to look at the car, it wasn't up to my satisfaction. Again, I know this is a budget wrap. Just to be honest with you all, I paid $600 for the wrap that I got. Again, being that it's a budget, I didn't expect perfection, but I did expect for some things to at least look right. So there were some gaps that with the naked eye you could tell they were completely off, and using knifeless tape and things that should cut down on that, but in my case, it didn't. Again, knowing that, most of the quotes I got for what I wanted was around, $1,600. Well, between $1,200 and $1,600. The fact that I found this for $6, I knew kind of what I was getting into. But just to the extent of what it is and what I saw when I pulled up, I just wasn't happy. So I had the person to fix it as best as they could, and I was able to take it home. So this is day 3. I just washed up the car, trying to present it the best I can. So let me go ahead and show you all what I got. So this is the wrap I got. So as you know, my name is SRT Gator. So I rep the Gators. That's why I went to school. So orange and blue is what I do. So I wanted some Viper ACR style stripes. That was the theme I was going for. Is it directly ACR stripes? Absolutely not. But that was the theme that I wanted. Haven't really seen this done on Chargers much, which is why I wanted to try something different. And this is how it turned out. Again, it's not the Gator orange, it's not the bright orange, and it's not the royal blue typically for the Gators, but again, just something a little different. In a perfect world, I would have wanted, like the chrome blue and chrome orange. That's really what I want to go for once I do eventually redo this. I'm going to keep this wrap for a while. Hopefully it lasts. If I can get 6 months out of it, that'll be perfect. But this is what it is. He did bring my vision to life. But at the end of everything, I do understand, it was a budget deal that I got. So you can't really expect perfection. And so, I'll show you guys everything that I found, just to be transparent. Again, I'm not going to mention the rapper's name that I used. Again, this is not meant to bash anybody, but just letting you know, if you want to get into a budget type of rap, you have to limit your expectations some. So as you can see, there's some things that are just misaligned. So if you can see there, just a little, that right there, let me see right here. Yeah, that right there, it's not matching. Even on the license plate, some people blur out their license plate. I'm in Florida. Y'all want to come find me? Come find me. Again, this is Florida. But as you can see, there's no wrap inside of the license plate area right here. Obviously, that was a corner cut. So same thing on the other side. There's no wrap inside. And, just some overall misalignments, as you can see here, how wide that gap is. You can just use my finger there and then going up. It's a little bit, it's close, but not the same. And then going up the car, obviously a little wide and gets narrow. And then you can really see it on the top here. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. So zooming in there, you see a little waviness there. Again, not the most terrible thing in the world that, that I couldn't live with. But there were just some things at first, like it was the gaps just didn't align throughout the car. I see a scratch there. I don't know how deep it is, but we'll get to that later. But overall, I'm satisfied. I do have something different that stands out for right now. But, just the overall quality, if you do a $600 wrap job, don't expect $1,200 quality. Again, I kind of went in knowing that already, but, just some things, some things I didn't expect, like, let's see if I can show you down here. So, the wrap didn't even go all the way up to the end part of this cutout. He really cut it short there. I can't really show you here, but it didn't even go all the way up underneath there. It was cut short again. Just little things like that. I really expected it to, really be tucked up in there. How traditional wraps are, even with the hood area here, down here, it's not fully wrapped into the hood. Let me go ahead and pop it so I can show you. So on the hood, I mean, he did a decent job of getting it, around, but it's barely around, the hood. Right here, it's at the edge of the hood. It's already starting to come up a little bit. And then here, just, the cuts aren't even. I can probably tuck that part in there a little bit with my fingernail, things like that. I'm okay with. I can live with that. A pretty decent job on this side of things, getting the wrap at least around it a little bit. I would rather it go further down and, tuck it in there. But like I said, a $600 job, you get what you pay for. Like I said, so again, this isn't to bash anybody, but, just being transparent, letting everyone know, what to expect, when you do get a job like this. Overall, I'm still satisfied. Like I said, I have something that stands out. I'll definitely get noticed in a crowd. They're going to notice the imperfections, which is fine. But, I am in the market again already for someone who can bring it. I am in the market again for someone who can bring my vision to life, maybe a little better. But again, overall, I am satisfied with the wrap that I got for the price that I got. Let me know what you think in the comments. Sorry to have to break it up so much and do this over 3 days, but you know, it is what it is. Also, for you guys that noticed before how I had the red center caps, I did switch them out to the blue ones. So they do float, they do light up when you roll. It's really good to see at night. I'm gonna have to see if I can strap the Osmo to the wife's car and see if I can get some rollers done to really show you guys what they look like. I think they look really good. I do have several sets available now. So I have blue, orange, red, and white. In the white, I have a white with a white LED light, and I have a white with a multicolor light. So it'll vary between white, red, blue, and yellow, I believe, as you roll down the highway. So again, just something a little different to, you know, set yourself apart. But that's pretty much it. Let me see if I can flip it around. That's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think. If you have someone you know in the Orlando area who does wrap cars and they are good with stripes, put their information below. I will be contacting them soon, or hopefully they reach out to me. We can strike up a deal. Other than that, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. That's it. Peace out. Let me know.